Life Audio.
On today's episode of Timeless Wisdom.
Okay, basically, I'm the single mom type person right now, and I work a very good job. I love my job. I do X-rays for a living. I do them on the road. I love them. I love my two children. They're 4 and 5. But I often find that going to work is not only a relief, but I take so much happiness from it. And I've heard so many people say, "Oh, I can't wait to be a stay-at-home mom," and "Oh, it's great being a stay-at-home mom." And I feel guilty because I don't want to do it. I want to work.
That's coming up on Timeless Wisdom with Dennis Prager.
When the world is just too much, turn it off and turn on positive, encouraging K-Love.
I'm gonna praise.
World off. K-Love on.
K-Love is sunshine for my soul.
I love K-Love.
Listen now on your radio, online, or on the free K-Love app.
K-Love makes me feel so good.
Positive, encouraging K-Love.
Welcome to Timeless Wisdom with Dennis Prager. Hear thousands of hours of Dennis's lectures, courses, and classic radio programs. And to purchase Dennis Prager's Rational Bibles, go to DennisPrager.com.
Hey, it's the Happiness Hour on the Dennis Prager Show every week at this time. Every week I make up new lyrics. That's what every week. Hey, everybody together now. Alan's not here. I can do it. I do it anyway. It's the happy hour. Yes, it is. It's the happy. They dance. The people, everybody is smiling. Come on, let's admit it. Yes, my friends, the reason that I do an hour every single week, come hell or high water, frogs, lice, vermin, the smiting of the firstborn, whatever happens, splitting of seas, the drowning of chariots, the reason that I do it every single week is because happy people make the world better. Happiness is a moral obligation. Everybody has a hard life. That's the way it is. That is the nature of the game. Everybody. And the happy make the world better, and they make others happy, and the unhappy make the people around them unhappier, and therefore the world worse. Not to mention, the really miserable can often do terrible things. So this is, and I mean it sincerely, happiness is a moral obligation. So that is the reason that I do it. Its importance should not be in any way underestimated. Now, here is the story today. On occasion, I would say about one every 10 weeks, I guess. I'd like to see what the actual statistic is. I invite you to simply call in on any subject with regarding happiness. Your own, anything that you have heard, a problem that you would like me to address. I may not be able to address it well, but I will give it a try. Philosophical questions about happiness, 1-8-PRAGER-776. 1-8-PRAGER-776. One of the benefits, by the way, of doing this, of doing the open line happiness hour, is that there will be issues that you might raise that I have not raised. And they give me a chance to talk about some subject with regard to happiness that I might not have addressed otherwise, about your kids' happiness, your own, whatever it might be, something that you heard here, what you'd like me to address. Incidentally, when I do go around the country lecturing, I find fascinating what people will emphasize. When people say to me, "I want you to know your book on happiness had a real impact on me," and thank God a lot of people do tell me that. And the book, of course, is Happiness is a Serious Problem. That is my book on happiness. It's the basis for the show each week. In fact, although there are many subjects that I cover on the show that are not in the book. But I do ask people, I always have a follow-up, even when it's about a speech. "Oh, you've had a real impact on me," which is what I want to have, frankly. I ask people immediately, most of the time, at least if I have the chance, what exactly did I say or did I write that did have an impact? I want to know. You see, for me, it's not an ego trip. It's not, oh, wonderful me had an impact on you. I want to know what idea did. What did I say? So I will know what is carrying a message? What is having an influence? One of the most interesting repeated ones from people when they talk to me is the missing tile syndrome. That has really apparently, see, I can't predict. I can't predict which points will affect people as much. And the missing tile syndrome, which is a chapter in my book, which is essentially, and I'll probably do it again one day on a happiness hour, the human nature is geared to seeing the one missing tile on a perfectly tiled ceiling. If you look out, in fact, I'm looking up in my studio right now, and I see, as it happens, all the tiles are there. But if one, just one, half of one were missing, what would I focus on? And that is what we do in our life. We focus on what is missing. It's not a new idea. It's maybe a new way of putting it, the missing tile syndrome. But as soon as you think about it, you realize, wow. Now, of course, I point out in the book that for a ceiling, that's fine. Because on a ceiling, every tile should be present. There's no reason why it shouldn't. But in life, it's impossible for every tile to be present. It just doesn't work that way. 877-243-7776. 877-243-7776 to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Randy. Hi, Randy. Dennis Prager.
Hi, Dennis. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
I'm very interested in the conversation about happiness and complaining.
Yes.
Because they do not jibe very well.
Well, they're antithetical.
Correct. So a person who is involved in politics or has an interest in politics as a hobby, are they not sabotaging their own happiness?
Oh, there's no question that I am convinced that a lot of people are disproportionately unhappy who preoccupy themselves with politics. How could you not? There are so many reasons for that. In fact, I have to battle that.
Right.
My natural inclination is not preoccupation with politics. And so it can in fact depress you.
Right.
And especially if you're a politician and you are, and I do not have this hour is never political, but clearly if you spend your time believing that the United States is a fairly awful place, and you just delineate how terrible it is for every day in a campaign speech, yeah, it is hard to imagine you'll be terribly happy.
Right. So how do you actually manage that? The only way I have found to manage that is to remove politics from my personal conversation as much as possible, because I don't see, people in the world are not largely happy because of this very thing. They think they can make macro changes instead of focusing on their micro happiness.
Yeah. Well, look, there is a chapter in my book on this very subject about the world's miseries. How can you be happy with so much suffering in the world? I mean,
that's why I think the Prager Group should focus on happiness and not politics.
Oh, I see. What you would need to do then, that's interesting. Thank you, Randy. Randy's talking about my listener groups. I have listener groups. There are Prager listener groups literally around the world because I'm heard on the Internet. If you have not joined one, it is apparently so successful. There are now thousands and thousands of you in them, and you meet with one another and I don't care how remote you are. It doesn't even matter if a station broadcasts me in your area. I'm not broadcast. I don't know where did I just see one? I forgot. But there are a number of areas where I don't have a station yet, and there is still a listener group. And certainly, there's a German listener group, a beautiful website, for that matter. We got to put up those pictures. You'll see that. And so you should go to PragerRadio.com and look where it says, find where it says Prager listener groups or the like, and then send your name in, and you'll be contacted for one in your area, or you'll simply found one. Anyway, that's your choice. When you meet, you discuss politics or happiness. I make no suggestion, none whatsoever. It's not my place to, and I would have to be there. I would hope that there would be a mix of subjects, just as there is on my show. But it's inevitable, especially in a political season, that politics be discussed. And but I understand what he's saying. The whole question of being happy with the world the way it is has been eternal. I mean, the world has never been good. The world is better and worse at different times, and we are more aware of all the bad today than ever before in history. I mean, you know about what is it, that sick Austrian man who fathered children with his daughter and kept her whole life in a basement prison. I mean, you know about that, even though it happened in Austria. We just know about a lot of terrible things that happen. My sanity is kept because in the final analysis, I believe that a good God governs this universe, and that in the final analysis, which means after death, to be honest, some rectification of these wrongs is made in some ways that I cannot at all imagine now. But there is no question that if I had no religious beliefs, I can't believe, I just know I would be less happy. It's a non-issue. I don't know how you're not be. If you take human suffering seriously and you are an atheist, how could you not be less happy? You see a world of such colossal unjust suffering. There is absolutely no righting it that happens. We all die and become dust. It's not exactly a happy scenario. All right, we'll continue whatever is on your mind this Happiness Hour, 1-8-PRAGER-776. I'm Dennis Prager.
This episode of Timeless Wisdom will continue right after this.
Rising interest rates, stock volatility, out-of-control inflation. People are concerned about what the future holds financially. This is Dennis Prager for AmFed Coin and Bullion. There's no better time than the present to move a portion of your IRA into precious metals. You should know there's a right and a wrong way to set up your precious metals IRA. Mistakes could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in IRS fines. Call AmFed Coin and Bullion, 800-221-7694. AmericanFederal.com. That's AmericanFederal.com.
Now, back to more of Dennis Prager's Timeless Wisdom.
Yes, indeed, the happy make the world better, and so I devote an hour a week. Let's hear him.
Me complaining, I'm certain sunshine. I don't care how the weather vane points. When the weather vane points to gloomy, it's got to be sunny to me. When your eyes look into mine.
What a difference to grow up with that music and the music kids have today.
Where'd you get those peepers?
What a difference. I mean, it's painful. The jaded, non-emotional, cold, gross stuff that kids hear today. And this is not the lament of every parental generation. I love that. Oh, come on. Every generation has said that, right? There's no qualitative difference between what you just heard and the death-oriented, sex-drenched lyrics of rap and heavy metal and the like. Come on, folks. Please. Hello, please. Anyway, it's the Happiness Hour, and I am just opening it up. Periodically, I do that. I would like your questions. What troubles you, or I don't mean troubles you necessarily personally, just philosophically even, on the issue of happiness. All right. And let's go to Washington State, Longview, Washington. David. Hi, David. Dennis Prager. Thanks for calling.
Hi, Dennis. Thank you for having me and being a positive influence on my own personal happiness.
You're welcome. What specifically?
I have been influenced by, I think, two related ideas of yours, that gratitude is the key to happiness,
yep,
and that I'm in charge of my own happiness, and that what happens to me can make a difference in my attitude, but ultimately it's my responsibility to be happy.
I love it. I love it. You made my day. That is exactly right. In fact, that would help me and others if you can get in and tell us, and tell me, obviously, what you've heard that hasn't had an impact. There were two, and he really picked the two biggest. David, you'll You'll be grateful to me for a long time. A, because you now realize how important gratitude is, and B, because you'll realize what I said is so important. Yes, gratitude is the root. The ungrateful cannot be happy. And by the way, it's not only ungrateful for your own life. I think if you're ungrateful about America, you're going to be unhappy. And I think that helps explain some of the divide in America between politics, political views, and happiness views or happiness levels. That's a subject I'll talk about on a regular hour, not the happiness hour. But gratitude is one, and the other is, yes, you determine. That's right. That's my argument. Abraham Lincoln said it best, and he had every reason to be unhappy. And that was, we decide how happy we will be. I know that sounds to some of you who are unhappy as incredible, literally incredible, not credible. But in fact, he was absolutely right. Thank you, David, for that call. Again, if there is, you could help people and me telling me what you have heard that has had an impact on you or on the subject of happiness. Especially from me, but if not from me, that's fine too. All right, we go to Iowa. And Jennifer in Des Moines, Iowa. Hi, Dennis Prager.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for calling.
Thanks for the happiness hour. It's really nice.
Good, thanks.
Well, maybe this is kind of a no-brainer, but do you think that conservatives have a far better chance at happiness than liberals?
As it happens, every poll shows a pretty big divide between liberals and conservatives and their happiness levels. And a lot of liberals explain it as, well, we are so much more preoccupied with social inequality than conservatives are. No wonder we're less happy. So that there is that explanation. I have a different explanation. I have a few, and I'm going to talk about that, Jennifer, but you obviously have a theory. Why don't you tell me yours?
Well, I guess I've often felt like when I focus on my family, which I know is a real conservative view, and I focus on my relationship with my husband and my community, that I am always far happier than if I look too globally and too largely and try to find.
Yeah, that's a very profound. That's a very profound insight. There is more happiness in making the world better one by one than in trying to change the world. Because, first of all, you can't change the world except for the worse. Very few people change the world for the better. Anybody who changes anything for the better does it one by one by one. You can change the world for the worse in a vast way, but very rarely for the better. And so there's an immediate anger that develops when you can't change the world, and that is your aim. Yeah, so there's a lot of truth to what you say. I thank you for that call. I have a larger theory, though, not larger meaning better, just it explains a little more on the liberal-conservative happiness-unhappiness divide. I think that it's not that liberals are less happy, it's that the less happy are more likely to be left of center. You start out unhappy. See, here's the way it works. If you are not happy, there are basically two things you can do. Blame human existence and your own nature, or blame America. Not specifically America. If you're in Uruguay, you blame Uruguay, but you blame your society. And so, generally speaking, if you adopt the view that tragedy, unhappiness is part of life, and I am the biggest problem in my own life, then you're more likely to be conservative. If you believe that society is the biggest problem in your life, then you are more likely to be on the left, right? So that's how I explain the liberal-conservative divide. I have, with whatever I have gone through, I've never blamed my society. I have blamed life, because life just deals sometimes a bad hand. I have blamed me because I've made some poor decisions. But my only attitude to the society, or not only, but my overwhelming attitude is one of gratitude. So that is the way I explain that in large measure. But I'll cover that on a regular hour. And, I have a great call coming up, fascinating, from Cleveland. I don't know if it's a he or a she. I suspect it's a she, but we'll find out, because the name could go either way. I feel guilty that I'm happier working than being with my kids. Oh, that's fascinating. We'll talk about that when we come back on the Happiness Hour on the Dennis Prager Show.
This episode of Timeless Wisdom will continue right after this.
Precious metals dealers come and go. This is Nick Grovich, president of AmFed Coin and Bullion. We've stood the test of time since 1983. With the flurry of coin and bullion dealers coming and going, how do you know who to trust and what to buy? At AmFed Coin and Bullion, we value educated consumers. We want to alert you to good bullion buys in the market and help you steer clear of the tricks and bad deals. Call AmFed Coin and Bullion for a free coin performance review. 800-221-7694 or AmericanFederal.com.
Now, back to more of Dennis Prager's Timeless Wisdom.
It's so important to make someone happy. Make just one someone happy. Make just one heart-to-heart you. You sing to one smile that cheers you, one face that lights when it nears you, one girl you're everything to. Fame, if you win it, comes and goes in a minute. Where's the real stuff in life?
This is one song we never interrupt. Hi, everybody. You're listening to the Happiness Hour on the Dennis Prager Show. The hour each week at this time for, I guess, about 10 years now. If any of you know the first time I did this, I'd love to know the date. I don't know it myself. 1-8-PRAGER-776. And with the promo of this call, we go to now. And it is Robin in Cleveland, Ohio. Hi, Robin. Dennis Prager.
Hello, Mr. Prager. How are you today?
I thought it would be a female. Hi.
Yeah, it is a female.
A guy wouldn't feel guilty over being happier at work than with the kids.
Yes, you are completely and utterly right on that one. I do.
All right, so tell me the story. I want it in your words.
Okay, basically, I'm the single mom type person right now, and I work a very good job. I love my job. I do X-rays for a living. I do them on the road. I love them. I love my two children. They're 4 and 5. But I often find that going to work is not only a relief, but I take so much happiness from it. And I've heard so many people say, oh, I can't wait to be a stay-at-home mom, and oh, it's great being a stay-at-home mom. And I feel guilty because I don't want to do it. I want to work.
So wait. So it's not exactly then as I promoted. My promo was, well, I guess it is pretty much exactly that. You feel some guilt over the fact that you rather work than be a full-time mom.
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
That's what it amounts to. Not that you feel guilty, or maybe you do, that you are happier at work than at home.
Oh, no, I do feel guilty about that, too.
Okay, fine.
Are my joy, but I am often happier at work.
All right. So let me give you one rule, a Prager rule here. One should never feel guilty about feelings. All right? Just know that. I want everybody to hear me. I don't care what your feelings are. It's very, very rare. I mean, if you are preoccupied with murder, that's a bad thing. But overwhelmingly speaking, outside of evil, do not feel guilty over feelings, only over behavior. So my question to you, therefore, is how are your kids doing? How much time can you give them? And that's what matters. What matters is how your kids are doing, not whether you are happier when you're working.
I think for the most part, my children are happy. I spent a lot of time finding someone to watch them who I felt was much of my beliefs, much of my upbringing and things that I would feel safe with them in it. They're not.
Well, now at that age, are they at school?
My eldest is going to kindergarten and preschool, or she's going to preschool.
And the younger one has a sort of full-time nanny?
Yes.
Okay. So, look, my preference, I have told people this, and you may have heard it, I do think all things being equal, it is best for a kid to have a full-time parent. However, having said that, I never say it to induce guilt. I just say it because I want to be honest with what I believe generally is best, because it is good for a child to have a good parent and bond with that parent and all the other things that are obvious, and that the child be shaped by the parent. However, if you have a wonderful nanny and your kid is doing wonderfully, I don't want you to feel guilty. How much time do you have with your kids?
I spend probably 4 hours a day minimum with them, and
that's not that's not a little.
4 hours a day.
Okay, and when you come home, I assume they're quite happy to see you.
Very.
Yeah, I look. As I said before, first, and this is the most literal answer to your question, is one does not feel guilty over feelings, and I assume the weekends you have with them as well.
I have them every other weekend. So.
Oh, okay, fine. So they have a dad in their life too.
Yes.
And how often do they see Dad?
Pretty much only every other weekend.
Why is that?
Without saying too much, their father is, if it's not convenient, it's not for him.
Oh, that is his desire.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, that. All right. Look, that I feel sadder about far more than your case. But I'm consistent with my belief. I'm not retracting it. I think it's better to have a full-time parent. However, the point is not to feel guilty here. We'll be back in a moment. That's another one I love. Hi, everybody. Dennis Prager, the Happiness Hour it is. And this one is one of the handful during the year where you just ask anything about happiness. And I'm asking you, if you've heard me say something or read something in my book on happiness that has particularly helped you, I would like to know what it is, and I'm sure everybody listening would as well. So that's an invitation to you as well at 1-800-PRAGER-776. And let's go to Colorado Springs, Colorado. Patrick. Hi, Patrick. Dennis Prager.
Hi, Dennis. It's nice to talk to you.
Thank you.
Dennis, first of all, I'd like to say I'm a chaplain in the Army, and because of you, I've been able to teach a lot of soldiers about happiness. So I appreciate that.
Wow. That's great. I'm so happy about that. Thank you.
My question is really about Alan. You have called him a curmudgeon at times and said that he smiles less than frequently. So my question is this, because I think I'm rather curmudgeonly as well.
Uh-huh.
Is Alan happy, or is he a moody?
It's the perfect day for you to ask, because it's a rare day. He's not present. He's, in fact, with his mom in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
And treating her to some little weekend away. So he's a good son. But so your last question was what? Is he what or what?
Since he tends to be curmudgeonly.
Yes.
Is curmudgeonliness and happiness mutually exclusive?
No, not at all. Not at all. Nor there are a lot of, you see, there are many ways in which there are many personalities a happy person can have.
Mm-hmm.
The outgoing are not necessarily happy, and the more laconic, which is a nice word for quiet, are not necessarily unhappy. So you don't feel bad. It's also good natured, his curmudgeonliness. It's
right.
He is not at all the glass is half empty type. He's not at all. He's wonderful to be around. I love him. But that is his temperament. He has a very different temperament than I do. and I don't know if he's one whit less happy.
You're right.
So don't worry. Don't worry. If that's your temperament, that's fine. And, it could be endearing and people just... I like the fact that there are so many different personality types. God forbid everybody were like me or everybody were like him.
Yeah, I think the issue for me is my temperament is probably a lot like Alan's. And because of that, I feel somewhat uncomfortable in my own skin. And I would love to get to the place where I am comfortable in my own skin.
Oh, well, that's another story. That's fascinating. What would you like to be?
What would I like to be?
Yeah. What do you think would make what temperament or personality would be comfortable skin for you to be in?
Oh boy, that's a hard question.
Okay, but you know what? That is what you might want to ask yourself, Patrick. That's the point. Because a lot of times people have this vision, there's something better out there. Well, I want you to all define what better is. In this case, I'm not comfortable in my own skin. Okay, so what skin would you be comfortable in? And then Patrick says, gee, that's a tough question. Maybe you're as comfortable as you could be in as you are. Maybe you are the best Patrick in that sense. All of us could be better. I could be a better Dennis and you could be a better Patrick, but I hope you know what I mean. So you sound like a very good man, though. That's my take. All righty, that's good. We should ask Alan one time. I should have Alan on the Happiness Hour once. For about a minute. All righty, let's go to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Dave. Hi, Dave. Dennis Prager.
Hi.
Dennis. Yes.
Thanks for taking the call.
Thank you.
This is kind of consistent with your concept of taking control of your life and responsibility for happiness. I was at a corporate seminar, and they talked about managing stress in the context of a study done by Stanford on rats, where they were put into a single cage separated by mesh. And so the two rats had the exact same environment. One, though, had an off switch when they applied a small electrical current to their feet, and the other one didn't. So the rat on the one side had a sense of control in its life, and the rat on the other side didn't. And eventually, the rat with control weighed, reduced, lived happily ever after. The rat without control stopped eating and died. And so I kind of go through life trying to figure out which rat am I. Am I taking control and doing what I need to do, or doing what I can do?
Well, the test as you described it is not so much of just having control as the ability to stop pain.
Well, the thing is, they were both exposed to the exact same amount of pain because they shared the same cage, but the one could turn it off. And
well, that's my point. If you know that it's not a matter of just control; it's a matter of there is an end to my suffering, whereas the other one had no end.
Right.
If the other one knew that the suffering ended at a certain point, rats don't know these things, but at least, knew that in whatever sense a rat can know anything, that these things last a minute, whether he had control over it or not, that would be more of a question. But in any event, even putting aside the rat survey, yes, that's the whole point. I've done a number of happiness hours on us being the captains of our ships. That's why complainers can't be happy. It's one of the many reasons. The complainer is saying, I am not the captain of my own ship. Look at what is happening to me. What is happening to me? That's the whole point of a complainer. Look at the raw deal I got. They are passive. It happened to them. Life happens to them. We'll be back, the Happiness Hour with Dennis Prager.
This episode of Timeless Wisdom will continue right after this.
Rising interest rates, stock volatility, out of control inflation. People are concerned about what the future holds financially. This is Dennis Prager for AmFed Coin and Bullion. There's no better time than the present to move a portion of your IRA into precious metals. You should know there's a right and a wrong way to set up your precious metals IRA. Mistakes could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in IRS fines. Call AmFed Coin and Bullion, 800-221-7694. AmericanFederal.com. That's AmericanFederal.com.
Now, back to more of Dennis Prager's Timeless Wisdom.
Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. You better chase all your cares away. Shout hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for the judgment day. The sun is shining, come on, get happy. The Lord is waiting to take your hand. Shout hallelujah, come on, get happy. We're going to the promised land. We're heading across the river, wash your sins away in the tide. It's all so peaceful on the other side. Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. You better chase.
All righty, everybody, you're listening to the Dennis Prager Show. This is the Happiness Hour. And let's go to Oracle, Arizona. The phone number 877-243-7776. Robert in Oracle, Arizona. Where is Oracle?
North of Tucson, Arizona.
Okay, terrific. Hi, Robert.
Hi. I thought that your most poignant thing that I've heard you say about being happy and happiness in general is that it's our moral obligation.
That's right. That is the most important thing I've said. That's right. People never think about it that way. They think that it's a selfish pursuit, not a moral obligation.
Well, thank you very much, and continue your blessed work.
Well, that's very kind of you. I will continue, and I thank you. That's exactly right. That's the big difference. And what it does is, among other things, which is never done. I mean, most everything that has been said about happiness that I have said, I'm sure has been said by someone somewhere at some point. But I do believe that if there's something different about what I'm saying, it's that that there is a moral obligation. You don't hear that much. I at least have never encountered it. And the other is that it puts the chronically unhappy on the defensive. See, in normal life, the chronically happy are on the defensive because the chronically unhappy in our lives, they make demands upon us. Make me happy, or stop making me unhappy, and so you almost feel guilty for being happy and for not solving their happiness problem. But as it happens, a lot of the happy are just enablers of the unhappy. That's a theme I ought to talk about, enabling the unhappy. I'm going to put that down because Alan isn't here to write it down today. All right. Now, let's see. I want to summarize some calls here. Pat in Thousand Oaks, California. He lives in a retirement home with he's 82, lives in a retirement home with many grumpy people. And he puts a sign on his door that says, smile, laugh, be happy. Yeah, you're a good man, Pat. By the way, there are a lot of surveys that say that the older are actually happier unless they have bad health, but anybody in bad health is going to be affected in their happiness as a general rule. So when we say grumpy old people, well, I think there are more grumpy middle-aged people, as it happens, than grumpy old people. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. It's a moral obligation to be happy. Now, call in on any subject under the sun.
On tomorrow's episode of Dennis Teaches the Torah.
You'd think if you had met God, God would not have to reintroduce himself to you. Think about it, right? If God spoke to me and said, Dennis, you remember me, don't you? No, I just don't. I've been so involved with my work, I just don't remember. It seems silly, doesn't it? Think about it for a moment.
Come back tomorrow for Dennis Prager's signature series on the first 5 books of the Bible. Dennis Teaches the Torah. Are you enjoying Timeless Wisdom? We'd love to hear from you. Call 877-243-7776 and leave a review, share your thoughts, or just even an encouraging word for Dennis. Your voicemail might just make it on the show. That's 877-243-7776. That's 877-243-7776. Thanks for listening and for your support. This has been Timeless Wisdom with Dennis Prager. Visit DennisPrager.com for thousands of hours of Dennis's lectures, courses, and classic radio programs, and to purchase Dennis Prager's Rational Bibles. We want to take just a second to thank the team at Life Audio for their partnership with us on the podcast. Go to lifeaudio.com to find dozens of other faith-centered podcasts in their network, including shows about prayer, Bible study, parenting, and more.
Rising interest rates, stock volatility, out-of-control inflation. People are concerned about what the future holds financially. This is Dennis Prager for AmFed Coin and Bullion. There's no better time than the present to move a portion of your IRA into precious metals. You should know there's a right and a wrong way to set up your precious metals IRA. Mistakes could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in IRS fines. Call AmFed Coin and Bullion, 800-221-7694. AmericanFederal.com. That's AmericanFederal.com.